So I would say in like the past few years, you and I have been kind of discovering we're not the same people we were when we met.
Yeah.
Which is causing for a lot of arguments, and I would even say like little snippy things. Like one of us doesn't respond the way that the other person's used to, and so then it causes us to make like little snippy remarks like, "Oh, we used to do this," and it's like, "Excuse me." And so I feel like we are learning that. I think we're learning that we are changing, and then we're also learning that the other person is changing as well.
Yes.
Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So to me, I'm not really, there are certain things that I'm okay with change, and there's certain things that I'm like, I don't ever want this to change. And you would think from the movies, like love is one of like, never change, babe. Just always be this. Let's always be the same. And so then you get sold that through The Notebook and Music Soul Child. But the reality is people change, and they definitely change within a marriage.
Yeah.
So I'd say the things that I've seen change with you are like, you used to be a very, I guess, aggressive kind of person. Would you say that that's an accurate word? Assertive?
I would say assertive. I think that people who aren't used to assertive people will call it aggressive.
I see what you're doing there.
Or
okay.
I'll say that if my assertiveness is directed to a person, it would seem aggressive. But if I take that same energy and move it over here, they're like, yeah, she's asserting herself.
Nope.
Good job, Shirley.
Sorry. Nope. So that's not what I'm trying to say. Already. So no, I guess what I'm trying to say is you used to be more active in certain scenarios that now I see you're more passive. And I don't mean, it may sound like a...
Well, give an example.
Yeah, because it may sound like an oxymoron, but like an active passiveness, like you're choosing to not be all in and up and through a certain situation. So, there are certain situations like, so we talking real situations or just makeup situations?
No, you can go ahead.
So, for instance, like we bought a car, and the car was nice, but we both agreed that the car was not complete. And so
I don't know if we both agreed, but go ahead.
So we left the dealership, and they basically said, we owe y'all this and this. And I'm like, all right, we'll sign, but make sure we get these things fixed, because I know you wanted a car. And so we drove away, and then days went by, weeks went by, and I'm like, hey, did you call the dealership to find out when they're gonna fix these things? And you're like, oh, I'll get around to it. I'm just like, bro, like it was bothering me, because this is something I feel like the next day you would have been like, y'all gonna fix this. Like, I paid X amount of dollars to walk out with this car, and it is not complete, and y'all know it's not complete. So you owe me this and this. The fact that, just long story short, the fact that so much time went by before it was addressed and like resolved, it was like, this is not like the person that I'm used to. You would have been up there, I was like guns blazing, like really, not guns blazing, but I'm like figurative guns. Like you would have been up there and been like, I'm not leaving till this is done right, because y'all should never have even sold that car in this particular situation. Now y'all have something in place where you can still sell a car and be like, oh, we see what's wrong, so we'll fix it when you can bring it back. Months went by before that, and I was just so not used to that with you. You've always been more of a, get her done, fix the situation, not let nobody take advantage of you type situation.
Well, still people don't take advantage of me. But
I hear what you're
saying.
Saying in this particular situation.
No, you're right.
I feel like the dealership was fine not fixing this. It was up to us, and us was not moving too fast on the situation.
Well, I mean, that kind of brings me to my point. I agree. So first of all, I want to affirm that I agree with your analysis to the changes that I have not been making, but to the changes within me. You're right. I used to be a lot more, I'm going to stay here come hell or high water until it's fixed. Yeah. And there are a lot of things that I'm just like. However, I do think that I have also seen changes in you. Where when we were dating and when we first got married, you were very laid back, very, chill, whatever, take your time, stuff like that. And recently I've seen you become, with certain things, very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Genius?
You're not genius. That's not the word that I would ascribe to it.
I was just picking a word.
I would more so say, like, you have no... Oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Tolerance for foolishness.
No, it's not that either. I feel... That kind of no, I feel like your patience is extremely thin.
Okay.
You literally have, like, no patience when it comes to certain things, and I've found that you're very rush. Things have to happen now, kind of Amazon delivery Prime with like all of life.
Yeah.
When life don't work like that.
Next day, bro. Next day. I want this tomorrow.
I feel like you and I have kind of traded places. Because I do remember when we got married, when we were dating, you would take the long way to get to my house. If we were in traffic, you would use that time to like talk with me. Let's listen to music. And I'm like, honk your horn, Brandon. It's time to go. Like,
I started working out today.
Oh, babe.
It's fine. But you just like... You feel that.
But you were the person that slowed me down to stop and enjoy the roses. If we're in traffic, it gave us an opportunity to spend time with one another. Now, you are like losing your mind because the light turned yellow and the person in front of you decided to slow down and stop.
I think... So I affirm what you're saying. Thank you for sharing that. I feel you. So let's ask this question, and then I'll answer it, and then you can answer it. Do you feel internally that things are happening that line up with what the other person is observing? So like, for me, do I, like the things that you said, do I feel that that's happening inside? And for you, do you feel like that's happening inside you?
Yes. I feel like...
I was saying, I was going to answer it and then you
I thought you meant ask, because you... Are you asking and answering?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay.
I'll say, so do you feel like what's happening inside you is aligned with what I'm saying I see in you?
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. I am purposefully choosing not to be aggressive. I'm choosing to be a lot more patient with stuff. And I guess choosing my battles instead of fighting every single battle that comes my way. I feel like when we were dating and when we first got married and didn't have kids, I had the energy and the time to like protest in places and not move. Whereas now I don't have that luxury to do stuff like that. Energies as far as, fighting fights or, speaking my mind on every single thing. I don't have the energy to do that. And so now I'm kind of picking my battles to say, you know what? I'm not going to engage. And I know that there are times where you'll see me be like, and you're like, no, what is that? I'm like, nope, I'm not going to say anything. And then you're like, Is she holding something from me? She used to speak her mind on all things, and now she's not. Why is she not sharing? You know.
So you feel like that is a part of you that is changing?
Absolutely. Some of it is just because I'm getting older, and some of it is purposefully trying to not engage or try not to use my energy, trying to conserve my energy.
So I do feel some of what you're saying is happening to me, and I think it's like you said, it's because we're switching places. I feel like, well, somebody's got to jump out here. Like, somebody's got to do it. Shoot, it's not you.
I feel you.
And so I feel like some of it could just be, you know, back in the day, like you said, you were like this. You were like, you know, go, go, go. And I'm like, I think what's happened over the years is I just realized you were right.
Oh! I'm sorry.
And that's where we should be.
Did you hear?
Yes, they heard what I'm saying. So now you have to come back to my side.
No.
So.
But I think these are just examples because I feel like these are some of the big, obvious changes that we both have made. But I think that there have been other small changes within you and small changes within me, and it is causing friction because I'm used to Brandon being a certain way.
Right.
And I feel like I'm going to ask you a question and I already know what he's going to answer, and then you answer something totally different. I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
Right. So what's been like one of the things that we've kind of chosen to do to kind of adjust to the changes that are happening inside us?
Well, I think we both decided to kind of date again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we took for granted that we just knew one another.
Yeah.
We've been married for 12 years. We've known each other and have been close and dated for 20 years of knowing one another and being close with one another. And I feel like, I know, I feel like we take for granted that we just know.
Yeah.
And then when we realize that we don't know, it's irritating. I don't think you like change very much. And for me, something that's so sure, like your character, when it's not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It rocks my
boat.
Sure.
Your world?
Sure.
No,
like
I can rock a few worlds now.
Because, and I mean, I think a lot of people who know you can say this. You are a very, I guess, not stable, but I think like stable person. Like you're like people can trust you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's things where I'm like, oh, I know I can trust. Not saying that you're untrustworthy, but I can trust your reaction. I already know how you're going to react in the situation. And so I go into the situation trusting that I know how you're going to respond, and then you don't. And I'm like, this is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things that you were able to easily tolerate, and now because your patience is whatever, you don't tolerate those things anymore. And I'm like, yo, like things like this never used to bother you, and now they bother you. And I think some of it is with, you know, we're getting older, and some of it is just like situational, the stress of jobs and the stress of, you know, whatever. Like it can weigh on you and it can cause you to react in ways that I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I think, to go back to answer your question, dating again and really like starting back getting to know one another is something that you and I have started doing within the past, I'll say, a couple of weeks or so. And it's basically starting from scratch. Yeah. I'm going to pretend that I have no idea how you're going to respond. And I'm going to pretend that I don't know what it is that you like or don't like. And I'm going to genuinely ask you to learn you again. And I think that it's cause for some fun moments to get to relearn who you are. To either affirm that I do know you, or to learn something new, brand new about you that's intriguing and exciting. Because then I don't know, like, okay, well, why do you act like that with this? Instead of just saying, man, your patience is low, you know, then, like, instead of doing that and getting upset about it, which I have, I'll come to you and say, hey, well, why did you respond that way? Why do you feel so adamant about this? And then, like, listen with an open heart to why you feel that way. I'm like, oh, I'm learning something new.
Yeah, I think another thing that we've been doing that's been helping has been like just having intentional conversations. Like we stay so busy sometimes that we're literally just keeping a calendar. Okay, you got this on Wednesday, you got this on Thursday, you got this on, but we're not actually sitting and just saying, hey, like, how are you doing? And it's like, I'm not doing good. Or actually, I'm doing great. And it's like, wow, that's good to hear. Sometimes, even if I'm having a bad day, it's good to hear your good day. Like, and then it connects me to you because now I want to live vicariously through your good day. And it helps put me with you, you know, in that sense. So I think that there's definitely going to be a lot more adjustments. But I think every married couple goes through, or at least I'm assuming they go through, like you hit that 7-10 year mark and you just your kids start getting more independent and y'all just start looking, like we said with people who are empty nesters, they get rid of all their kids and now they're looking at you like, who are you? Because you've been so busy moving, you haven't had the time to like get to know the person that you're with. And I think one of the things that we want to do is make sure that doesn't happen. And part of that is what we're doing now, just relearning, keep updating, like your phones and your computers. Like, okay, just gonna keep updating because there might be something new I don't know about and I need to know. And so once we become empty nesters, I want to be like, yo, we about to set the world on fire, traveling and enjoying our empty nest. But it's gonna be because we know each other and not like, who are you? So
yeah, I think that a lot of couples, like you said, do go through this, whether it's because, oh, you know, now I'm working full time, or oh, now I got the kids, or oh, the kids are grown, like all of these different stages that married people go through. I think that it's important and I mean, it's crazy because we've even like given other people advice about this, and then yet when we're in it, we kind of forget, oh yeah, that's I have to keep learning you. So I think it's a great reminder for us to remember, like, if we're going through a patch where we're not feeling connected, it's probably best to like kind of reset.
Yeah.
And say, maybe it's something new I need to learn about you, and be willing to like drop my thought, I guess my preconceived, about how you would be or what you like, and be willing to learn who you are and grow with you.
Well, thank you for this conversation.
I appreciate it.
I love you.
Love you too.